Hey onesies, Josh Williams here, and thanks for checking out this week's episode of the One Man Podcast. It's always free and available on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, and many more, as well as on the web at onemanpodcast.com. So please, whatever platform you're listening on, like and subscribe. While you're at it, give it a rating, leave a review. Why? Because it helps the podcast, and I'd really appreciate it. How about that? What about social media? Search One Man Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube to keep up with what's going on there. Get a little extra content for yourself. And finally, to get in touch, please send your emails to contact@onemanpodcast.com. You send it, I read it on the podcast. That's the deal. Thanks for listening, guys, and I hope you enjoy this week's episode.
Hi, this is Rick Mercer. You're listening to the One Man Podcast.
Yeah!
Hey, it's Josh Williams, and welcome to the One Man Podcast, episode number 121 for Wednesday, September 4th, 2019. How's it going, onesies? How's your week shaping up so far? Or how was your last week, I should say? Coming to you on Wednesday as always, but I'm recording on Tuesday. I'll be on time for you. You'll wake up. I'm sorry about last week. Last week you got it late in the day, Wednesday, and that's not how I like to do things. I like to be a part of your mornings. I like to wake up with you, and be in your ear while you make breakfast or do whatever it is. I'm recording a little bit differently. I don't know if you just heard that clunk. I've got my mic, as it always is, on my recording stand, but I'm trying to put it way back, and maybe I can just lean back in the chair and relax and do this episode. More energy. So I'm trying new angles here. New angles. Yeah, so got a little notepad here with all the things I'm going to talk about. Speaking of which, I'm almost done with my aligners. I've got 5 weeks to go, so I'm pretty jazzed about that. They still mess me up when I say a series of S's all at once, but you can see people's eyebrows start to furrow if I'm saying too many S's. Like, I don't get so bad where I'm just talking like this because people with retainers and things like that. I'm not Brian Murray, local reference. Some people just, it's funny too, because I see more and more comics these days with speech impediments. You don't make fun of somebody, but you see these guys say, hey, so, I noticed this week that, grocery stores have some very surprising things. And it's like, and I'm kind of going like, fuck. I don't know, man. I'll dive right in. I'll tell you what, I will tell you some of the stuff I'm going to talk about. Going through the liner stuff. I had some games nights this week, which was great. I did some beer store samplings and some LCBO activations. I got to sit down and actually sort of sample some whiskey with a friend of mine who I work with a lot, who not much of a whiskey person. So we worked together, and then we came back and hung out. I'll tell you about that. I'm back on the Kanga ride thing. I got a lot of things coming up this week, so I posted some rides there. We'll see how that turns out. But a big one I'm going to try not to talk about too long, but it really is the biggest thing that's sort of just kicking my ass right now, is I am going through some pretty intense depression right now. And I don't know that I've felt depression this heavy for this long before, but I will try not to let that affect my my performance on today's podcast. But yeah, that's the stuff I'm talking about. Really, I'm getting ready for a lot of stuff coming up this next week. And by this next week, I mean this week that we're in right now, this weekend. And I'll tell you guys about that stuff later on. So I'm happy to almost be done the aligners. So they're not messing my mouth out too much, but I will tell you this, that it's tough. It's getting harder and harder to just leave them in all day long, have a quick meal, and then brush them and stick them right back in. Especially when I'm doing things like sampling whiskeys and, having games nights. I find I'm just taking them out and leaving them out for, 4 hours at a time. Which does make the process take longer, but now that I'm so close to the end that I can see sort of what my mouth is going to be looking like soon, I'm going to have to go back to the dentist and get them to file down a tooth. I remember I told you guys that I chipped a tooth a while back. I think it was like a year ago. And I just in general, I was just talking, having a conversation, and I felt like what felt like a little grain of sand in my mouth. I was like, oh, I remember I was talking, I think I bit down, and I felt the grain of sand break into two pieces. I was like, oh, what the hell is that? And I look, and there's just two little white things, very small, couldn't even tell what they were. And then I ended up rubbing my lip or my tongue against my tooth, and I could feel a little sort of horseshoe chip out of one of my teeth. Very small, very small. You could see it in the mirror, but it was so small that really, I think the biggest effect was that I could feel it with my tongue, and it was just like a little divot. Anyways, I went to the dentist. I told you guys about that. Went to the dentist. They grinded the chip out of the tooth, made it flat again. But instead of doing the whole tooth and getting it level, they just sort of, it was like off to the side. So they sort of just like filed that one side. So now I've got this tooth that's like sloped and pointed. And the funny thing is that the other tooth, it's my eye tooth, right? The two big ones right in the front, the buckies. So now the other tooth that was sort of behind the other one, the whole point of these aligners is, it's now moved in such a way that it's sort of angled up and the other one's angled down and right where they meet. So there's this sort of like little lightning bolt effect where it's like down slope and then hooks back and then slopes down again. So I'm going to have to get them grinded and evened out when this is all over. But obviously it's not the kind of thing that you do right in the middle because got to wait and see how this whole process ends up, right? You don't want to change something. Plus the aligners that were made for me were made for my goofy ass teeth. So I think I notice it more than anyone else does, but that's how we are, right? We're rough around our own things. So once these are finished, I'm going to get that grinding done. And, then I'm going to take my whitening set that they sent me with the aligners. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that for a while afterwards. Have a nice white smile. A nice white, ignorant smile. No. So I'm excited to be almost done these. I'll have to wear a retainer every night in bed, but I don't mind that. That's easier than the whole day being like, oh, I gotta take things out. Like you're either putting the aligners back in without doing a great job of brushing, or you're leaving them out till you get a chance to do a proper cleaning. I'm glad that's going to be done soon. So, again, I won't go into it. I know a lot of my listeners are not big board gamers. It's like me listening to podcasts where they start talking about sports or something that I don't really give a shit about. I mean, I still listen, but that's definitely where my brain starts to mentally tune out and thinks of other things. So, I won't go into too much, but my friends Chris and Rebecca had me over on Saturday night. I had a great time with them. Truly did. We got to play some games. I got to play a game that I've had for a long... Jesus. I'm going to have to get used to this microphone here. Let me spin it around here. Just ain't working the way it is. It's going to have to be right in front of my face here. So I'm going to turn my head slightly and bang the headphones into the thing. Josh, you're getting way more articulate by the second. I went to their place. We played some worker placement games. For anyone who cares, we played Lords of Waterdeep and Stone Age. Great time. Chris taught me a couple simple, easy games. I taught him a couple simple, little, easy games. But it was a good time. Honestly, with this depression, I'll get into it later. It was good to see my friends. And then the following night, and these are also days I did activations too. So I'm like working all day on my feet. And then I got to go hang out with my friends and kind of forget about my troubles. Sunday I went to hang out with my friends Mika and Mel. Good time again. Same thing with them. I got to play the Stone Age again. It was funny. I've had Stone Age for like a year. And it's a great game. I'll be honest, guys. You know what else I did? I actually played Gears with Jay too. That was kind of fun. I don't remember what night that was, but right now I'm having a good time. Just, I'm working during the day and then I'm, throwing caution to the wind. I don't know. I'm wasting time, at night, but I'm having difficulties. All right, let's try to make this funny. So I had a good time with my friends this weekend. I did something Friday night. Was it Friday? No, Saturday and Sunday night, which was great. I also spent an evening playing Gears of War 4 with Jason. Jay's a computer gamer. He does not know how to play console games because of the controllers. So he just cannot learn the new controller configuration, which is funny because he's all like, "Oh, I'm smart and I can learn anything." I'm like, yeah, well, you can't seem to figure out a controller. I'm like, 4-year-olds can figure it out. But so for the longest time, Jay and I have not been able to play video games together. Which sounds ridiculous. We were playing Kinect stuff where you don't need a controller, he could play. But it's interesting. Like he plays, games every now and again, but it's always computer. For me, it's always console. I don't have a gaming PC. I do have a Mac and I can play stuff on it, but there's very limited selection. And a lot of it's not the kind of stuff that I could play in multiplayer, which is probably a good problem to have. Not having a huge desire to play video games has been good for me. Which is kind of why I'm enjoying the board games, because at least it's social, and as much as someone go, well, multiplayer is social, it's like, yeah, if you're playing with somebody, if you're playing with, just random people, people get pretty aggressive and rude and dark and taboo on those things. So instead of just like, oh, I'm having a good time playing, it's like, no, you're screaming and yelling at strangers. At least I am. I don't get in those really horrible ways, but I've definitely told people to go fuck themselves online. Playing someone's like, oh, what happened to you? What happened to you? Fuck you. fuck. It's the big thing is I'm always late to games. I have all these games that I'm playing in reverse because I feel very guilty spending time playing video games. Because like I said, it just feels like I'm wasting my time. There's always something better that I could be doing. So yeah, I got that shit going on. So it was fun. We had a good time playing Gears of War 4. It's a shooter game. We got quite a fair ways. I think we played for like 5 or 6 hours. Like the time really got away from us. But we were having fun because now with some Microsoft games, they allow for cross-platform. So you can actually play on his computer and I'm playing on the Xbox. As long as they're both Microsoft things, you can play them together, which is spectax. So I had a good time doing that. I think that's it for like the social stuff. I visited my mom again to see the puppy. Her dog Gracie's doing great, so it was nice visiting with her. And then I think last night, Jay, his lovely girlfriend Noreen, and I played some card games, real simple. Just a good old evening. So yeah, that's been my week. My week has been a series of evening escapes with friends. And the work during the day I've been doing, I did some LCBO stuff. Really nothing fancy or interesting to talk about there. I did those on Thursday and Sunday. And then, I did some beer store samplings. I'll tell you this, my first time doing stuff for the beer store. To explain any of those when listening, shout out to, by the way, lots of listeners in the States last month. Thank you very much, US onesies. And, I got, as always, Nova Scotia is crushing it right now. So far this month, Nova Scotia is the biggest listenership. Only a few days in, but thank you, Nova Scotia. Thank you, US. And thank you to the UK, are the only ones internationally in the last couple of days downloading. So thank you to all of you for listening. But for those of you who are not from Ontario or Canada, in Ontario, we have two stores. We have like the liquor store, the LCBO, and what it stands for is the Liquor Control Board of Ontario. And then we have the beer store. They do like mostly beer stuff. For the longest time, those are the only two places where you could buy alcohol in Ontario. Now, in the last few years, they've started selling it, in grocery stores and things like that. So it makes it a little bit easier. But generally speaking, if you're looking for beer, you can get beers at the LCBO, but you're going to find a much bigger selection at the beer store. And you're not going to find any liquor at the beer store. It is all beer. The liquor is at the LCBO. There you go. Nice little boring ass fun fact for you. But that's the way it works. So, my first time doing sampling at the beer store, I was sampling a malt cooler. So again, there's no liquor in anything. So it's all malt. It was fine. The store was quiet, whatever. But here's the thing. I remember I went out to my car very briefly, near the end of the second day. And I went out there just to have a seat for a second. I was on my feet for a long time. I'm able to have a 15-minute break. So I'm like, I'm just going to go sit in my car, which I did. No issue. Walked at the car. Everything was great. And then I came back in with very, very short period of time left. And I remember just standing. I could see my vehicle from where I was sampling in the store. And I look at it at one point. My vehicle's across the lot. I'm still trying to protect it. It's now got four scratches and dings. Right? Brand new vehicle, 1 year, 4 scratches and dings. And I've already replaced the windshield. It doesn't matter what you do, guys. If you're trying to keep something, if you don't care, nothing's going to happen. But if you care, shit, I don't know. It just seems that way. Shit happens. There's no way to prevent life from happening. So either way, car's got lots of scratches. I just don't think about it anymore. I'd like to not think about it anymore, but I still see them like, what the fuck, So I will still park across the parking lot where hopefully nobody wants to park. And I'm looking out at the car, and all of a sudden I see what looks like, I swear to God, it looks like someone threw up on the hood of my car. And I go, what the fuck? And I'm thinking like maybe a tree just had a really strong wind and there's like a bunch of dead leaves or something. But it was still like, I'm like, I gotta go take a look at this. So I say to one of the guys, I'm like, hey, just keep an eye on this for me real quick. I'm gonna go look at my car. I look at the car, and somebody, I don't even know how to, I don't know. I think that's what bothering me the most is a pear had, for some reason, been slammed against the hood of my car to the point it exploded into like applesauce, like pear sauce. There was chunks of pear and skin wrapped around my windshield wipers. There was pear shit all over the windshield. It was all over the hood of my car in the little hole between the windshield and the hood. Like, it was everywhere. It looked like someone had taken a pear and spiked it on the hood of my car. But the pear was rotten and soft enough that it absolutely exploded. So, I can tell you, spoiler alert, there's no dent from it happening. But I could see where the impact was and just how everything moved out from there. And I'm like, what the fuck? Somebody walk by and get mad at my vehicle and spike a fucking fruit over. So it was just absolutely ridiculous. It looked, like I said, it's a smashed pear. I was joking with one of the guys inside that, like, it sounds like a flavor of these coolers I'd be sampling. Hey, you want to try smashed pear? I just had one and it was horrible. So I was really, that really pissed me off because the whole idea was when I was done, I was going to rush home, change, and then go to Chris and Rebecca's. Lucky for me, it happened late enough in the day that the sugars hadn't really solidified in the car. Like, I still had to go home and I still had to spray the car all off, and do a real thorough job of it. But, fuck, I just realized I forgot to do something on Sunday. I'm a piece of garbage. Oh, the distracted thoughts of anxiety, guys. Never able to focus on anything for too long before something taps you in the shoulder. Hey, remember this thing you didn't do? Yeah. Where the fuck were you on that day? Anyways, so smashed pear all over the hood. I came home. I rinsed it off with the hose. And it was still tough to come off in some spots. But, yeah. So the sticky, sugary, syrupy fruit spiked in my car. No idea why. My brain kept trying to go, well, maybe somebody was like going to the hood, like the what do you call it? The trunk of their car or the gate of their car. And they were eating a pear and they were like, oh, this is gross. And they just blindly threw it behind them in it. But the impact and the spread of where this thing hit, it was clearly someone spiked this on my vehicle. I walked up and just slammed it against the hood of my car. And I don't know why. Or they threw it from super far and that just happened to be the place where, but who does that? Anyways, that was a pain in the ass. That was probably the worst thing that happened to me all week, which is not horrible, but it did delay me seeing my friends, Chris and Rebecca. They made burgers at their place. It was great. I had a great night. And I had a great time with Mika and Mel. They gave me lasagna. Everybody is crushing it for me right now. Again, I got great people in my life. In terms of the Kanga ride thing, I'm heading to Kingston this evening. And I'm going to see if I can fill up my car with some peeps, see if I can get some people interested in ride sharing with me. So, we can make some money out of these travels and stuff. Sorry, I'm just looking at how little time it was, and I feel like I'm speeding through it. You know what? Like I've said before, if I have a week where not a lot's going on, there's not going to be a lot going on the podcast. I brought my friend Lydia back. We were working together on Sunday. And we sampled a bunch of whiskeys. Whiskey I could talk about for a little bit. But I'm quickly really, really developing a love of whiskey. There is so much going on in whiskey. I tell you, it is the water of life, guys. Water of life is what whiskey means. And there's so much character. Scotch is clearly my preference, but I still enjoy a good bourbon. I enjoy a good rye. Whiskey in general is very fascinating to me because it's made with so many, so few ingredients, water, usually malted barley, yeast, and that's it. So it's cool too. The character of whiskey all comes from the barrels. I don't know if you guys know this. Whiskey is a clear liquid. It's a clear spirit. It gets its coloring for the vast majority. There's a rule that allows a little bit of caramel coloring, not necessarily caramel, but caramel coloring. To make it brown, but the vast majority of whiskeys are the color they are because of the barrels that they're aged in. And that's the taste. Not only the color, but the taste, the wood, what the barrel held before. And I don't know if you guys know this, but there's certain rules for whiskey. Let's give you the three basics. And this information is available everywhere, of course, but hey, I'm sharing it with you. Whiskey is clear, goes into a barrel. There's three kinds of whiskey. Generally, there are more crafts and stuff like that, but there's three kinds of whiskey that are the vast majority. You got your Scotch, and Scotch has to be made in Scotland and aged for at least 3 years in Scotland to be legally considered Scotch. Then you have your bourbons and ryes. Bourbon is usually American made, and it's made with 51% or more corn. That's what makes a bourbon. And rye is made with 51% or more rye. You can have 100% corn or 100%, rye, but in order for it to be considered rye, it has to have 51% or more rye, and bourbon has to have 51% or more corn. There's a few other rules too. Bourbon has to use brand new American oak barrels. So when they store it, it is in brand new barrels that have never used anything before, and they also char the insides. They use torch or fires to torch the inside of the barrels. It just helps them open up and make them more ready to accept the whiskey. And it's like charcoal, right? It sort of sucks in water into the porous, whatever. It helps to clean water, right? To purify it. But of course, in the whiskeys, it helps suck it in and get all that essence and organics from the wood. So bourbon and brand new American oak barrels are charred. And the difference in Scotch is that Scotch has to be aged in a barrel that has held something else first. So usually American oak barrels, right? Something that's been used before. Apparently Jack Daniels is a big supplier of barrels for Scotch. Or alternatively, they usually use an Oloroso sherry cask. So depending on what kind of taste profile they're going for, they will age the alcohol in different types of barrels. So that's a way of finding out what your Scotch is going to taste like if you're not really sure. Well, how do I know the differences and everything like that? Well, knowing that a lot of the character, not all, a lot of the character comes from the barrel. If you look at the Scotches and see what they were aged in, that can give you an idea of sort of what kind of taste you're going to get from the Scotch. Ugh. My allergies are still kicking my ass, guys. I'm taking all these allergy meds and they make me dopey AF. But, sorry, I'm trying to grab my watch here. I got a conference call coming up at 3:30. That's an hour from now. So where was Josh Williams on September 3rd, 2019 at 2:30 p.m.? He was sitting here talking about whiskey, scotching it up. Why do I have no notifications? Seems odd to me. Anyways, so the water of life, guys, the whiskey, so delicious, so many different kinds. I got all sorts of great books from my partners at DK, right? I got a whiskey book from Michael Jackson, not the dead singer / child toucher. Is that a thing? Oh, one sec. Why am I getting notifications here? Leave me alone. Leave Britney alone. So I got those whiskey books. I've got a great single malt Scotch book, which is spectacular. And then 2 great whiskey and world whiskey books. I'm telling you, I am learning more and more about this all the time and thoroughly enjoying my experience, guys. Oh, but these allergy pills, I tell you, I'm either super itchy throat, super itchy eyes, or no pain or discomfort. Well, mild, very manageable, but then like tired and yawning and just beat. So that's where I'm at right now. Anyways, Lydia came over afterwards because we were standing in an LCBO, and every now and again I'd find myself in front of the whiskey aisle and she'd ask me a question. I'd give her an answer. But it's great. I thoroughly enjoy talking about whiskey and drinking whiskey. I know my liver doesn't, but it was a great little sampling. I know I had some whiskey with Mika, and I would love for him to come sometime and sample some of the scotches and some of the other stuff that I've received, or maybe I'll just bring some shit over to his place next time I go and we'll sample it there. But all that said, there's so much history in whiskey all over the world. Now there is Irish whiskey, which is aside from the Scot, bourbon and, excuse me. Come on, body. Come on. Process this shit. Get the drowsiness out of my system. Just stop. I don't know why your body does it. I think I mentioned that last week. Why does your body make you feel so shitty? The the histamines. You know what? Maybe it's time that we research that. Maybe that's what I'm going to do. One sec, guys. Let's find out why our bodies do this. I'll make this fucking podcast interesting if it's the last thing I do. All right, let's figure this out. I'm going to unplug this here. Come on. Come on now. Come on, Nelly. Let's get ourselves on the right track. All right, for starters, let's figure out what the fuck a histamine is, because an antihistamine is what stops it. So, let's see. Google, what is a histamine? I probably spelled it wrong. Yes, I did. I've spelled it with a Y is with an I. So, histamine, a compound which is released by cells in response to an injury and in allergic and inflammatory reactions, causing contraction of smooth muscles and dilation of capillaries. All right. How do histamines help? Excuse me. Histamine is an organic nitrogenous compound involved in local immune responses, as well as regulating physiological function in the gut and acting as a neurotransmitter for the brain, spinal cord, and uterus. Ooh. Histamine is involved in the inflammatory response and has a central role as a mediator of itching. Why do they and how can they overreact? WebMD causes symptoms and test histamine intolerance. All right, well, we're going to go to WebMD one and then I'm going to call it quits. What are histamines? You've probably heard of antihistamines. They're medicines that tame allergy symptoms. But what are histamines? They're chemicals your immune system makes. Okay, well, that's easy. Histamines act like bouncers at a club. They help you. Jesus Christ. I'm garbage at reading. I mean, I am looking through murky, watery eyes, but histamines act like bouncers at a club. They help your body get rid of something that's bothering you. In this case, an allergy trigger or allergen. Histamines start the process that hustles those allergens out of your body or off your skin. They can make you sneeze, tear up, or itch, whatever it takes to get the job done. They are part of your body's defense system. When you have allergies, some of your triggers, such as pollen, pet dander, or dust, seem harmless, but your immune system sees them as a threat and responds. Okay, and it just jumped all over the place for a second. Your body's intention to keep you safe is good, but its overreaction gives you all those all too familiar allergy symptoms, which you then try to stop with antihistamine. Histamine's unleashed. When you come across your allergy trigger, your immune system knows it and launches a chain reaction to defend you. First, it sends a chemical signal to mast cells in your skin, lungs, nose, mouth, and gut, and blood. The message is release histamines, which are stored in the mast cells. When they leave the mast cells, histamines boost blood flow in the area of your body the allergen affected. This causes inflammation, which lets other chemicals from your immune system step in to do repair work. Histamines then dock at special places called receptors in your body. The results, if your nose was affected, say by pollen, histamines prompt thin walls called membranes to make more mucus. You get a runny or stuffy nose and you'll sneeze. The mucus can also bother your throat and make you cough. Histamines can make your eyes and nose itch while they're doing all that. If you have a food allergy, histamines are in on that response process too. When you accidentally eat or drink something you shouldn't, they'll work in your gut to trigger your allergic reaction. Some foods are also naturally high in histamines. These include aged and fermented foods and alcohol, especially red wine. Some people may be sensitive to that. Histamine poisoning, there's 2 pages of this. Histamine poisoning can happen if you eat fish that weren't kept at safe temperatures and spoiled before you got them. Those fish can build up high levels of histamine, which can make you sick. Doctors call this scombrotoxin fish poisoning, or SFP. I'll never remember either of those. It's not likely to happen with good food safety practices. Did you know many plants and animals also have histamines? For instance, they're in some insect venom. If you're stung or bitten by an insect, your own histamines will also kick in as part of your defenses. In this case, because you really are under attack. Yeah. Okay, that's it. Fuck these articles. Yeah, sorry about the reading, guys. The constant pop-ups, and I don't know if you've ever experienced this when you're on a computer, you're trying to read something, and for whatever reason, the page just keeps going back to the top or something. It's like you scroll down and it just pops back to the top. So did we learn anything? We pretty much learned what we already knew, which is 99% of the time when you Google something on the internet. So I know it's my body trying to flush shit out, but I don't really feel like it's doing the job. You know, it just makes you worse. I wonder, it'd be interesting to know how I would feel. Well, fuck. I mean, it's obvious. Antihistamines. It blocks the histamines, and I don't feel like garbage. So it's worse that it's what your body's attempt to do is fucking worse than if it wasn't, right? Like, I'm trying to think of an example of that. Something funny about, like, yeah, it's almost worse than if you hadn't. You know what? It's like you light a candle in your house and somebody fucking calls the fire department and they blast all your windows in with the hose and smash everything and destroy everything in your house to there. Thank God that fire didn't get out of control. It's like, yeah, but you know, you have the same devastating effect. You just destroyed everything in my house with fucking water and, you know, bad example maybe, but you know what I'm saying? It's that is definitely the cure is worse than the disease scenario. You know? I don't love that at all. Well, that was useless, Josh. Way to go. Way to waste everyone's time. Hey, well, at least we got to the half-hour mark. you know? And I wasn't just talking about depression either. So I'm still getting my ass kicked. I'm still taking tons of meds. Having drinks here and there. I want to say I'm trying to keep the calories low. I'm struggling with it. I'm struggling with it because, like I said, I am fighting depression, guys, and it keeps popping back into my head too. I have really struggled to like get out of bed in the mornings. I've been sleeping a little bit in the afternoons as well. I don't know what to tell you. It's not really anything I haven't told you before, but I'm having nightmares. There's some things in my life that really stressing me out. And I don't really know how to deal with it. You know, I've never spent more time contemplating getting a government job, you know, and that's like just to say that they would take me. But I have jokes in my act. If you know anything about my city, it's a big government town. I live in Ottawa, the capital of Canada, and it is a big government town. But I've got jokes in my act about like government employees and how monotonous their jobs are and how it's like wilting under a cubicle of fluorescent lights. It's like pot, you know, you're just like a plant just sitting there growing under the lights. Only you're not growing, pot gets better under the lights and we just fade into nothing. Fade into nothing. A bleak look from Josh Williams on the world. I'm actually not feeling overly depressed right now, which is kind of good, but I'm also using my diffuser with oil essence, essential oils known to fight depression. So, you know, maybe it's working, you know, it's not single-handedly. I'm sure a psychiatrist would do better, but we ain't got money for that, do we? So yeah, well, there we go. We're half an hour in. I've told you not a whole lot going on with me. I mean, by telling you guys what I've been doing, it really is letting you know what's going on me. I'm working during the days. This last weekend I had like all 4 days work. I was off yesterday, did a lot of housework, got a lot of things ready, and I napped a lot. I've taken my meds, passing out, I napped. I did some conference calls and some work booking. But really it's, I've been trying to take it easy the last couple of days, but I'm telling you, like, it's like that, what is it? Idle hands are the devil's plaything, I believe is the quote. I would like to be a little bit busier with things, and I know there's a lot of things on my list I need to do. I'm just not right in the right headspace for it. And I think it's one of those things where I need to just start doing it. But yeah, I mean, without just turning it into like a sob story podcast, I'm really struggling with I'm really struggling trying to pick myself up. I don't want to be one of those, like, I honestly, let's put it this way. I honestly contemplated just putting it out on Facebook that I'm fighting depression right now, but I don't want to be like one of those people. Like, it would have been a cry for help. That's what all of those are, is like, but I wanted to just like own it and be like, yeah, I think this is, I think I'm going through something right now, guys. And I just, if anyone's gone through this, I'd love to chat. But the issue I'm having is, I didn't want to do that. I don't really want to talk. It's more out of respect for, you know, other people, but I don't want to just share my shit on the podcast right now either, till I have an idea of what good that would do. So that's the thing. Like with the Facebook thing, I'm like, what good is it going to do? You know, I don't really want to talk about what's bothering me, aspects of it, but I think right now I'm struggling with depression. I'm struggling with direction. That happens all the time. I've got a lot of projects that I want to work on and get out of the gates. But I'm worried about my mental state right now and how that's going to affect the things that are important to me. And I think that's the shortest I can leave it at. I can't really think of a way that by me going in any deeper, would entertain you, because that's the whole point of this, right? Why put this out there and be like, hey, I'm going through this. I'm trying to be positive right now, guys. I know it affected me the last episode, and that one was just short. I was also really, really sick with allergy stuff. But I want to have good, fun stories for you guys. So, work sucked last weekend, but hey, who's like, yeah, you know, work. I feel like this is like my little sit down with you guys at the end of the day. Hey, how was your day, honey? You know, how was your week, onesies? You know, I'd love to hear from you guys. That always makes me feel like that's something that I can sort of riff off of and have more fun. But, I appreciate all the new listeners that I've got. A lot of friends listening saying that they're loving the podcast. It's great. Thank you. I don't know what you're loving about it, but, I'd love to know. And yeah, the podcast is homework right now. It's homework, and I don't have a whole lot of shining stuff to tell you guys. So I'm digging deep to try to pull it out, but that's where I'm at right now. So, I won't make you guys listen through it, but I will just tell you I'm struggling with like what to do with my life right now. And just in case anybody else is going through that or has gone through it recently or maybe feels themselves headed in that direction, I wish I had some words for you. You know, I care about you. I can say that. Whoever you may be, I give a fuck about you, and I hope that you figure out whatever it is. Here's okay. If I could share this much with you guys, I'm struggling. Like, I know I have people to talk to, and I'm lucky. So that's what I do. I want to turn around and the flip side of this depression thing is I want to take a minute and thank, be grateful for things. Just so you know, I'm not out here going, woe is me. I got a lot of good people in my life. This last weekend was a perfect example of that. Lots of good friends, good people to spend time with. So I'm lucky that I'm not like alone. I'm emotionally alone right now. I'm very, very lonely. That's the biggest part of my depression is I'm very, very, very lonely. But I don't know if this is the same with you guys. Is like the things I want to talk about, the things that I feel like that I need to get me out of my slump. I don't know that here's the thing is like, I feel like I'm in one camp and I want to go to the other. And I feel like the people that I can talk to are either in the one camp or they're in the other, but not that they were ever in both. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to ask people in my life for advice. Like, hey, how do I do this? And I'm beating around the bush, but how do I do this? And get to where you are in the good. It's like, oh, they never really were there. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's clear things. It's like, oh, the people in my life who are, hardworking, perseverance, they're over in this camp. And there's people that are like, yeah, there's this, there's that, and the artists and struggling. And I don't know that they've come out of it. That's the thing. It's like, I don't feel like I have anyone in my life that's been in both sides and can give me some real insights and help with the direction, I know that there's only 4 emotions. Jesus Christ. My liner just caught my cheek and stuck underneath it. I've never had that happen. And in 7 months, that's never happened. That's my issue, right? There's 4 emotions: happy, mad, sad, and afraid. And everything is a derivative of that. So sometimes, like I've said before, if you're feeling like, oh my God, no one knows what I'm going through, it's like, well, if you're feeling sad or angry or, whatever it is, afraid, what is it? Sad, mad, and afraid. If you're feeling any of those things, I mean, obviously every other emotion stems from that. Frustration, panic, like all those are all derivatives of those 4 emotions. So always keep in mind that we all know what those 4 things feel like. So we're never totally alone, because anyone you talk to, it's like, well, they didn't have your particular experience. If they know that you're feeling sad or they know that you're feeling afraid, they do know how those emotions feel. So they can relate in terms of the emotion. Okay. And that's kind of what I'm going through. I know all my shit is just going through those 4 emotions. And please know that by talking about it on the podcast, it is helping, guys. I know that someone's there listening. If you do hear this and you end up reaching out, let me know. It's just, I'm feeling very afraid and very lonely. I'm not angry right now. But I'm sad and I'm afraid. I'm feeling very, very lonely. And I don't know what to do with myself. I've talked about this before, but it's hitting me particularly hard right now. But like I said, those things aside, I've got lots of good people in my life. So I'm not alone. Even though I'm feeling lonely, I'm not alone. I've got good people in my life. I just don't know who to talk to. Like, that's the thing, right? If I want to talk to if I'm having trouble, like, hey, what's some good relationship advice? I feel like my mom will talk to me. My mom will listen, but my mom has been single for all the time that I've known her. She's had some, just a couple boyfriends over the years, and that were long-term, and they didn't last forever. So it's kind of like, for the most part, I wonder, I can't ask somebody who's never achieved what I'm trying to achieve, right? That's the thing that bothers me, is that I know that my mom would care and she'd be in my corner. I can't ask my dad, the same reasons, right? No relation. Like, neither of them have been successful with relationships. So how do you ask somebody relationship advice? It's like, if you're asking someone about work ethic or success, I know people with a strong work ethic, but if they've never chased a dream, and that's what I'm still doing. I'm still chasing that dream. But I have, it's like the truck. I'm chasing a truck, and it's like I see it just getting further and further ahead, and you're still running, thinking you're going to catch it. And I'm at the point now where I've kind of just dropped into a sort of a slow drudge, and I'm like, I know it went that way, so I'm going to just keep kind of walking that way, but hoping I can find the passion to start running, and then maybe it'll have pulled over long enough for me to catch it. Oh, look at me making metaphors. That's it, guys. I'm going to drop it at that. I've got lots coming up this week I'll tell you about shortly. So hopefully, it's going to keep me busy. I'm going to see some like big money coming in, and feeling good based on productivity, So we're going to leave it at that. Thank you for listening to the rant. Please know, even though I know that wasn't very interesting, anyone else who's going through some shit, who maybe is feeling they need to reach out, it's the same thing. It's like I'm not very successful in overcoming this stuff, but I can listen. And if maybe just having someone listen helps, well, then I'm here. And anyone who feels like they may know what I'm going through, wants to reach out and maybe connect, I would love that. I would love that. Cool. All right. Is that enough bitching? 40 minutes in. Let's get some sponsors taken care of. I think it was last week or the week before, I was chatting with, Red sent me an email about, water, tap water and stuff. I figure, maybe we'll keep that alive. I'm drinking water this week. I don't know if you guys can hear me slurping it, but I am drinking the water from a nice water bottle. Ooh, fancy. Yeah. I'm trying to think if I did anything interesting. I made pancakes for everybody yesterday because I'm a sweetie pie. I enjoy cooking, but I don't like going through the work of a lot of things if I'm not feeding multiple people. And I think that comes back to not really valuing myself. Sounds lame, right? There's people out there, it's like, yeah, I'll make a big meal, but I'm not going to just go through the trouble of cooking a bunch of shit and prep and whatnot for just myself. You just do something quick and easy. That definitely links back to codependency, wanting to help other people and, but I think too, it's just, if you're going to go through the effort, you want to be doing it for somebody. So had enough people home yesterday that I'm like, all right, doing pancakes, gang. We're going to do some pancakes. Who wants them? Everyone was in. Simon was not here, but everyone else in the household was more than happy to eat pancakes. And I used real maple syrup. That's right. I'm not an animal. But let me know about that, guys. Are you guys the kind of people who will cook like an elaborate meal just for yourselves? Or are you like me? Or do you prefer do it when it's making, I like cooking when I'm feeding people, not just myself. So, but yeah, getting back to the sponsors this week, Uncle John's Portable Press, right? I feel like I need a kick in the head, right? So from this week's, edition, it's Uncle John's Bathroom Reader. Wise up, amazing facts and incredible information. Just get that brain going. And since we've talked a lot about water lately, right? And maybe me with my mental needs, let's go to the basic human need. I think it's the silver medalist of needs, the Nancy Kerrigan, right? It's like a time frame, right? Like everyone's like, oh, water's the most important thing. I'm going to go ahead and say, I almost said this is the most important human need, but it's not. Oxygen, you cannot go more than 2 minutes without, or you're fucking screwed. So, we all know water's like 3 days. And then apparently food is, like you can actually, if you're getting water and oxygen, you can actually last like, a month or more without food. So that's the thing. So air first. Air is mere seconds, 120 seconds, no oxygen, you're fucked. All right. Water, you get a few days, 3 days. Then you're toast. You're fucking toast. And then you get food next. But those are the three things you need in that order. This week, I am talking about water. It's a long walk, that one. So this article is called Water. There are almost 800 different brands of bottled water available for sale in the United States. According to some experts, the world's best tasting tap water is in Los Angeles. And I was there, and I think I bought a case of water from Costco while I was there. So I don't know if I ever tasted their tap water. Can you imagine tasting it? You're like, it's like scotch. That's an example of what an S sounds like with my aligners in. Every day, the sun's heat evaporates about 1 trillion tons of water. With just one gulp of air, a beaver can swim up to half a mile underwater. Gulp of air, he swallows it. It's in his stomach. Each day, the United States uses 134 billion gallons of water to irrigate crops. Sunlight can penetrate clear ocean water to a depth of 240 feet. Hey, it's when it starts to get dark. 80% of a baby's body weight at birth is water. In the ancient Egyptian language, the word Nile means water. Oh, there you go. The Nile, a river in Egypt. Beethoven often dipped his head in cold water before he began composing. So I don't know, just shocking his system. All sturgeon caught in British waters are legally the property of the Queen. I don't know if she's doing it. Bring me my sturgeon. If all the ice in Antarctica melted, sea levels would rise about 200 feet. An average golf course uses about 6,000 gallons of water per day. Some desert courses use 1 million gallons. I would say that the one I was in Vegas probably does because it... Wait a second. Per day? Oh, on average golf. What? What a waste of water. 6,000 gallons, not liters for my Canadian listeners. Gallons, which is about 3.4. Shall we stop? Should I convert? Let's do it. Let's do it. Why not? The whole point of these articles is to get information, right? So why don't I go into my unit converter and yak so that I can buy myself time to set up the conversion. US gallon to liters. Come on. Liter, cubic DM. What the fuck is that? All right. So that's a UK gallon. No, I want US gallon. Liquid gallon. Yeah, 3.78 liters. 3.79 if you round up the 5 afterwards. So yeah, it's almost 4 liters. So that's like almost 20,000 liters. Jesus. Okay, well, let's do it. Let's do 6,000 gallons. Find it exactly. Yeah, 22.7 liters of water a day, and some of them use that's disgusting. Some desert courses use 1 million gallons per day. Unbelievable. It's recommended that we consume 8 cups of water a day, but people can actually drink up to 3 gallons or 48 cups. Yeah. And a big difference. I don't know if I told you guys a story. I went to get an ultrasound and they told me to drink two glasses of water before bed. That's what they said. 2 glasses, not two cups. And then the next day I'm standing there dancing around in front of the fucking ultrasound place. Like, I'm going to piss myself. I'm so, and they're like, yeah, go ahead. And, I said, can I please pee? This is horrible. And she's like, well, it's not, well, we're going to need it for the thing. I'm like, I'm going to piss myself. We're doing the ultrasound in the next 3 minutes or I'm pissing myself. That's the options we have. And then, she's like, okay, well, try not to let it all out. Just let some. And of course, I don't know if anyone listening, males, you guys know, you can't just pinch it off, right? You're having that more people, it's all coming out. You can't just, okay, I tried. It wasn't happening. I can't do like a fucking pelvic crunch with just my muscles and have it last like dude kegels. Women, I don't know if it's like that for you. You start peeing and you just sort of stop. But for guys, we kind of do it. So I pissed everything out and they're like, well, they're like, this shouldn't have been that emergency. We said 2 cups of water. I'm like, she did not say 2 cups. She said 2 glasses. I drank 2 fucking glasses of water, went to bed, and that's why I was suffering in the morning. So when it says 48 cups, that is not 48 glasses. A lot of people say, oh, you're supposed to drink 8 glasses of water a day. No, 8 cups of water a day by measurement. And a cup is like fucking nothing. It's like half of a teacup. Anyways, I got 2 more. I can't tell you a story after everyone. I apologize. But by the time you feel thirsty, you've already lost 1% of the water in your body. Okay. An average water droplet contains 100 quintillion molecules of water. All right, so there you go, guys. There's water from my parents at particlepress.com, Uncle John's bathroom reader. Water. Wise up. Amazing facts and incredible information. Check out portablepress.com. You'll find all the different books they have. I have a ton of them on my shelf. They're always fun. Depending on context, I've learned a lot of things, a lot of pieces of tidbits that can be brought up in conversation. My ears are driving me crazy right now. I just want to stick a Q-tip in and scratch the shit out of my brain. Scratch the shit out of my brain with a Q-tip. It's that friggin' itchy. But yeah, check out the Portable Press stuff. Like I said, I usually will lay in bed and I'll read like 4 or 5 articles before I go to sleep. Sometimes I find ones that are interesting. And sometimes it's just like, it's like interesting enough, but I don't know if it's like, Oh, for the masses. I might have to start going through these and getting them ready in advance because I'll find a few of them, but to find an edition and then find something that really just coincides with what I'm doing this week, like a lot of time goes to that. Plus, I got to read the DK books, right? So I'll see if I can get them a little more on the nose for what we're talking about, but for the sake of water, boom. Now you guys all know more about water. Yay. We grow and learn together. My other partners, guys, Absolute Comedy. I have not got any comedy on my calendar for this week because I am doing shitloads of like full day things. I did some before at PlayStation, and this last weekend was all booze stuff. This weekend is all college stuff. So excited. It's going to keep me busy. It's going to keep my brain off of how horribly sad I am. But it's a good distraction. So I'm excited for that. I'll tell you about that a little bit more. So no comedy meet for me, but for you guys can get all the comedy that you want at 3 clubs, Ottawa, Toronto, and Kingston, Ontario. Just check out absolutecomedy.ca. Absolute Comedy is the best live stand-up comedy from across North America with locations in Kingston, Toronto, and Ottawa, Ontario. These comedians have been featured on Just for Laughs, Netflix, Comedy Central, CBC's The Debaters, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Conan, The Comedy Network, and much, much more. Go to absolutecomedy.ca to see this week's lineup. Planning a night out is easy with dinner and show packages available at all locations. Live comedy is a great choice if you're organizing a celebration, fundraiser, company outing, or corporate event. Want the show brought to you? They'll send comedians to your venue with performances tailored to your event, creating a night of laughs your guests will love and won't soon forget. So for showtimes, ticket prices, gift certificates, special shows, and more, head to absolutecomedy.ca. Again, that's absolutecomedy.ca for the best live stand-up comedy from across North America. And I'm back. And who did I forget, guys? Did I forget anyone? I never forget them. My partners at DK, Dorling Kindersley. Check out dk.com in the States, add a /CA for Canada, or just Google DK Books. Guys, I'm putting my laptop back out of the way so I can open up this here DK book and just give you a little bit of love, guys. I know one of the things that's going to make a difference for me, I got read a lot of sorts of books on the mindfulness and psychology and things like that. I know that this too shall pass. And I do want to I know that I'm going to start feeling better if I can get my physical self in a better place. So health, exercise, all those things, right? Walking for 30 minutes a day has been proven to lower depression. So I need to get myself out there. And of course, the loneliness, that's going to help too. Get yourself out there. But how are you going to fuel this temple of yours? I've been fueling it with the worst things. So, an email's coming our way. What do we got? Is that a reminder? Oh, fuck off. I get so much spam. I really have to go through my my inbox and unsubscribe to a lot of things. But to fuel the temple, all right, whether you like the lifestyle or not, it is the proven scientific healthiest thing. There's actually a documentary coming out. I'm going to try to get myself some tickets for it. I'm very, very fascinated. I think it's called The Game Changers or something like that. It's been on my fucking Facebook and Instagram feeds constantly. So let's see if I can find it. It's been there every single time. And I'll bet you now that I'm looking for it, I will not find it. Boopity boop. Giving it only a couple of seconds. Yeah, that's not it. Do. Yeah, it's basically a thing that it's got, like, I mean, a lot of you may have seen it too. It's got Arnold Schwarzenegger and a bunch of other guys, and it's all about like plant-based stuff. It's a documentary. I think it's called The Game Changers. Fuck. I gotta find it. I gotta find it. Come on, just hit me with it. I've said your name. My phone, I know you're listening. Here we go. Game Changers movie. As soon as I said the word, it was like 3 or 4 more. So yeah, it's all about like plant-based stuff or whatever. This revolutionary new documentary about meat, protein, and strength will change the way you think about your diet and health. Executive producers James Cameron, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jackie Chan, Lewis Hamilton, and Novak Djokovic. Okay, so I want to go see this thing because it's all about these guys who are like, you know, athletes and stuff who like went strictly plant-based diet and how they got infinitely healthier. Just that. And someone's like, you know, how did you get as strong as an ox eating only plants? And he says, you know, or without eating meat. And he goes, well, do you ever see an ox eat meat? I mean, I know that's super simple, but yeah, it's kind of exactly how physiology is. You know, we eat herbivores, and that's all the protein comes from the plants. Your body doesn't just make protein on its own, and that's why It is what it is. So, with that in mind, Raw Food by Anat Fritz. It's fast, fresh, and easy vegan food. So, the cover does not look like a bunch. I think when people think vegan, they think all like beans and, well, I'm going to be eating a lot of falafel and salads. Well, this is some really cool soups and smoothies and everything like that. So, they do have salads. They obviously have breakfast and desserts and things like that in it, but it expresses the how essential raw is. And I love the fact that it's things that are easy enough to make at home. I mean, everything is. What cookbook is like, no, I can't make that at home, but the stuff is simple enough. There's like apple slivers with almond cream. That looks really good. I think that's one that I want to make. There's a raspberry cheesecake. I want to stay away from the sweets. I find myself having a sweet tooth in the last year or so. So if I do something, I think I would do like an apple crumble that they have here. I'm trying to see some of the other ones that really stood out to me. There is a Japanese cucumber salad, which I don't know if I would do. Only I would probably, if I did it, I would probably get the seaweed out of it. I really don't like seaweed. But just some simple things like arugula pear salad. Very, very simple. I got to start taking care of myself. In the middle of the room, I'm like yelling at myself. They have a sandwich bread recipe, so which will. What the fuck is going on? Am I getting notifications here? Sandwich bread, which is basically it's a really nice, healthy bread for you. The ingredients are simple: cups dried tomatoes, cup ground flaxseed, cups of sunflower seeds, an apple, chopped zucchini, lemon juice, cold pressed olive oil. I don't know if it has to be cold pressed. Date paste and the sea salt and then some dried herbs. So, you need a food dehydrator for this one. 4 dehydrating trays for food dehydrator. I really have to do that. I can't just fucking bake it. I think it's going to lose me on that. I've got so many appliances right now. I don't need to add more. So I missed that the first time I was just looking at the bread going, it looks fucking good. It looks like tempeh, if you know what tempeh is. Who the hell is calling me? All right, I missed a call from Jason. That's never a bad thing. There's a miso cashew soup. Wouldn't mind trying that. But yeah, that's all it is, guys. It's a great cookbook. That's I think it's raw food. So there you go. You don't even have to cook it. I think that was the point of the dehydrators. You're not cooking it, so you're not destroying anything. But there's Swiss chard wraps. There's Asian style vegetable stuff. So I know that raw is good. There's kelp noodles. I don't know what kelp noodles are, but I'm imagining I can find it. It's basically just like a kelp salad with peas, onions, some carrots, I'm going to try some of these out. Again, I'd rather do it with someone else. Okay, Jason's calling me again. Let's see what he needs to interrupt for. Hey, Jay, I'm recording the podcast. You are now live on the podcast. What's up?
Hey, just wondering what you're doing there, buddy.
I'm recording the podcast, buddy. What are you doing?
Great. Remember when we were online playing video games like buddies before? Wasn't that good times?
I was talking about that earlier, as a matter of fact.
All right. I'll talk to you when I get home.
Why? What do you got going on?
In my top 50 favorite podcasts, right as of this time.
Oh, that's amazing. Are you just looking to hang out, or is there something important? You can tell me. Or you don't want to tell the world?
Tell the world. Once you move your car out of that spot by the garage, I crap to unload.
Oh, well.
I got a big wad of cocaine I have to unload illegally to the back porch.
Yeah, I'll be done in a few minutes. I'll come out.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
I'll come home now. Bye-bye.
There you go. Always happy to bother me to get me to do something for him. So, raw food, guys. It's good for you. There's lots of great recipes. If you're not like me, we've already discussed my vegetable shit, is if you already like making salads and stuff like that, there's great smoothies, there's salads, there's cooked stuff. I guess you just have to use a dehydrator. There's not cooked stuff. You just have to use a food dehydrator to get everything to stick together. So I'm sure I can make that bread if I'm willing to bake it. But yeah, if it's good for me, I'm willing to do that. Yeah, and then they got like brownies and apple crumbles and chocolate chip mint mousse that you don't cook. Somebody made fresh ice cream. That was at Red's house. They had fresh ice cream that they made. It was very rich and delicious. But that's the thing. Like I don't need this stuff. Mint mousse. You need 4 dates, 2 cups of thick almond milk, a tablespoon of almond paste, 5 tablespoons of coconut butter or coconut paste. Then you need cocoa butter, spirulina powder. There's a lot of powders and pastes in this. Cocoa powder, peppermint leaves, dried. vanilla extract, maple syrup or agave syrup. Yeah, that's just carbs is what it sounds like. Carbs and this and that. So yeah, I got to be a good bitch and just try to take better care of myself. Salads. That's what maybe I'll make that for dinner. Make myself a big fucking Horkin supply of vegetables, steam them in my steamer. And, yeah. But anyways, in the meantime, you guys trying to take care of yourselves too. Check out Raw Food from my partners at DK. Fast, fresh, and easy vegan food. Check out dk.com in the States /CA in Canada, added to the end. Or just Google DK Books, guys, and you'll see what they have. They have books on everything. They even have, they have books on the mindfulness and things like that. And I'm going to start reading some of the stuff that I have from them, seeing what I can get, if I can crack out of this funk. And I'm going to go check out that documentary, the Game Changers, when it comes out, because I am very, very fascinated by it. I'd love to learn more. It's funny, I eat meat, but I know the vegans have it right. If I go vegan, I will not be rubbing it in your guys' face. But you know what? There's people in this documentary, at least from the testimonials, who are like, they're older guys and they're in great shape. And they're saying like a lot of people can't keep up with their grandkids and the grandkids can't keep up with me. It's one of the little things from the trailer. So I'm fascinated by it. We'll see where it goes. For me, I got to apparently move my car now so I can, be there for Jay. I want to make sure I move my car out of his way, gets what he wants. And then I have to pack because tomorrow I'm going to be at Queen's University in Kingston all day doing a promo for Amazon. I come back, I'm doing something all day at Ottawa University on Thursday. Then this entire weekend, I'm going to be in Montreal, trying not to eat Schwartz's amazing smoked meat. But I will be doing some sort of gaming technology expo Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I am, for the next 5 days, 4 of them, I will not be in Ottawa. I will be out of town. So Kingston and Montreal are going to get my stupid face in them for a few days. And, but it's going to keep me busy. It's going to keep me busy. It's going to put a lot of money in my bank account and get me out of at least the financial slump mentality, right? So, always so excited to be living my truest life, right? And I'm going to try to read tonight. So, see if I can pack my car with some people, get a good thing going. How the fuck did we make an hour? Without even thinking, we made an hour. All right. Well, hopefully this podcast was entertaining for you guys. I will, I hope to be telling you that I'm doing well mentally next week. And for anyone else going through some shit, if you need someone to listen, let me know. And anybody out there who thinks they might, just have the magic words that make me feel better, tell me, because I do not want to get a government job. I've never felt closer. If I can summarize how I'm feeling, I've never felt closer to quitting on my dreams and just getting a regular job and living out my days like that. And that thought scares me. So hopefully that means I still have a passion to do what I want to do. But for the time being, I'm just feeling like, meh, not good. Not good. What do I do? And I know that my bad habits, like the things that I do to escape, not as bad as some people just drink every single day. But I have been drinking. I've definitely consumed alcohol every day for the last few days. And, I don't want to say copious amounts, but, I haven't been having 1 or 2 drinks. I've been having, 3, 4 drinks. So yeah, I spend money on things I don't need when I'm in this way. And I'm better than I was when I was younger. I'm still aware that I'm at least I know I'm doing it, but I gotta break bad habits, because I need some positivity to move forward. So, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on nothing but positive, stay distracted with work, go make money instead of spending money. And maybe being away from the city will just be a good thing for me. Seeing these young kids in high school and college, or not high school, but college, maybe will give me a kick in the pants. Cause I've been thinking about going back to school for something too. I'm thinking about maybe taking graphic design or whatever. But again, the dark thoughts that inhabit me are, hey, do I want to go to school and accumulate debt to pay for the school if I don't think I can make the money afterwards? So I got to ask myself some serious questions, guys. Some serious fucking questions. So anyways, hope you guys are doing great. Hope you have a great week ahead of you. I look forward to hearing from you guys. I hope that you've enjoyed some of this episode. Maybe just the prattling of my voice in the background has helped get you through your days, or your drive or whatever it is. Hey, there we go. We're making that. Yeah, that's my 10-minute heads up. I got a conference call to get on for the gig. So you guys have a great week. I will talk to you soon.